Hey everyone, Shotgun Warlock here to talk a little bit about an early access title called Grim Dawn by Crate Entertainment, a small indie company made up of developers formerly of Iron Lore Entertainment and responsible for the Titan Quest games. This is going to be a first impressions type video as the game is currently in development and everything you see here is subject to change at final release. I will be evaluating the game based on its current state as well as what the developers have to say about the future of the game. Bear in mind that it is an early access title and as such it is incomplete and there is no final release date as of yet. I recently posted a short video outlining what I think about early access games and what you as a consumer should be aware of when you're looking at them, so you can go check that out if you're interested. I'll post a link in the description below. Grim Dawn is an action RPG set in a sort of steampunk post-apocalyptic world called Cairn, where humanity has recently been decimated by a war between two otherworldly factions bent on either possessing or destroying humankind. This setup provides the template for a game that combines elements of Path of Exile's art style and Torchlight's combat. The 5 current classes in the game may be your typical choices for the genre, but Crate has managed to make them feel unique with a set of skills that are really fun to use. The addition of a dual class system that allows you to access any other skill tree also significantly adds to the depth you can have with each character in the game. There are plenty of weapons and armor to try out for all the different types of classes, including swords, axes, guns, wands, and magical tomes. However, you cannot dual-wield pistols unless you have another item that allows you to, which seems a little odd to me, but it's not the end of the world. The game maps are not randomly generated like so many others in this genre, and while that may seem at first glance like it might hurt the replayability, the devs have embraced the idea and actually used it to their advantage. Each map is beautifully crafted and full of places to search out and explore, as well as containing secret areas hidden by destructible environments. There are also several small touches that really impressed me, like the pages of journals and books littered throughout the map that really flesh out the world when you take the time to read them. But in a nice touch, they're not shoved down your throat either as loads of text in between missions. The enemies are randomly generated and both factions will actually fight with each other and even ignore you until you become the greater threat, which is another one of those nice little touches that just kind of adds to the world. There are also human factions that the player can interact with to get quests and items from, as well as gaining reputation with them. However, the full extent of what this system will do has not yet been implemented. Combat is fun and chaotic, with varied enemy types and strategies to employ, while the difficulty curve is pretty steady and doesn't outpace itself for the most part. The destructible environments come into play here too, and give you a real sense of impact on the world when you see bookcases and shelves and boxes and everything shattering around you as you start lobbing grenades and casting spells into the mix of things. The developers are actively posting updates in the forums every couple of weeks and talking about upcoming features as they are implemented, and the community is fairly active as well, with discussions on bugs, class builds, and several other topics as well. Speaking of bugs, being early access, you will see plenty of them. However, in my time with the game, I never hit a game-breaking bug. The majority of them at this stage are limited to graphical glitches like spell effects not completely dissipating after a battle. There are some targeting issues in the combat, mostly surrounding doorways and smaller objects in the map interfering with ranged combat, but these problems, while they can be annoying, are again not game-breaking. The multiplayer works well with the ability to search for public games or to connect with your friends through Steam. There is also a party system in the game where you can group up together, or you can set to PvP and you can actually fight each other or group together in separate parties and battle against each other. I will say that the content does end rather abruptly, but again, this is early access and it is obviously waiting for the next bit of content to be released from the developers. Grim Dawn is a game with a lot of potential and I'm looking forward to seeing it completed. Once I finished the existing content on my first character, I was genuinely surprised to discover that I had logged 30 plus hours in the game already, so there is definitely a lot of playable content, even on your first playthrough. There is a well fleshed out game guide on the website that spells out all the things that the devs have planned for the final release, not the least of which is a full set of modding tools for the community. I'm really looking forward to this because I can see, especially in a game where there is no randomly generated maps, you can add a lot of content with this kind of stuff and really keep the game going for a long time. As early access titles go, this one is pretty solid and meets my criteria for a worthwhile pick. However, remember that it is not finished, there are bugs, and there is no scheduled release date as of yet. Bear these things in mind when you're considering this game. I hope you enjoyed this first look at Grim Dawn and what it has to offer, and if so, feel free to click the like button and subscribe below.